Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an exciting and everything and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only Master Propaganda Hero Psych Defender of the Fatherland, off you to a glorious 1v1 on Kholodny Ferma. In the West, it is the one, the only Luvnest, fighting here for America, freedom, democracy, liberty, here with the 3rd Armored Division, with a rifle company featuring the EC-8 Sherman, Rifleman defensive structures, advanced infantry equipment, the M3 half-track, and white phosphorus smoke barrages. In the east, it is Angreifen, fighting for the Oberkommandwest Germany, Deutschland, here with the 17th SS Panzergrenadier-Division, Götz von Blechingen, here with Scavenge, featuring thorough salvage, Flak Panzer 4 Ostwinds, Jäger light infantry recon squads, infiltration tactics, and the 105 Howitzer barrage. Double rifle start versus full Scavenge Kuhwagen start, and as always, a big hearty thanks to my invaluable Propagandacast supporters via Patreon. As always, they keep the Propagandacast going day after day, month after month, year after year, so big thanks to all those. Other people can follow the heroic example, support the effort by pledging on Patreon, or if you're in the market for pre-ordering companies free, you can do so with the link in the comments. Use the code CoH2 as it is written there, and I get a small part of the sale. And I should have comment, like, share, subscribe, talk about the video. What did you find the most exciting? A rifle squad going for the car punt liaisons basically there as well in the south. Angreifen and the 17th S moves ahead. The 17th SS was a sort of division formed up of ethnic Germans from Hungary and Romania. And also by the time of Normandy, didn't actually have a lot of training. Some elements had months, others had weeks, and crucially as a division, it didn't really have time for any major exercises. So there were some issues there. Rifle squad moving 40th, 3rd squad for Luvnest. 2nd full squad there for Angreifen. Kuhwagen following it back here as Luvnest steadily advances there for freedom, democracy. Full squad here is the rear echelons. Kuhwagen probing a bit about here around the centre there against the Yankees. The 2nd squad out there for Angreifen. Skirmishing continues here. So far, the Angreifen thanks part to the Kuhwagen is getting more map control here versus Luvnest in the early game, though, of course. That can always rapidly change in the face of freedom and democracy. Rifle squad back a bit off on that one. Up north here, a bit of skirmishing here. Still continue the reasons of bleeding out there in one carbines. No match for the mighty Karabiner 89 Kurz. Kuhwagen was the rifle squad. Full squad moving up here. We've got a trot on the way there for Angreifen. The schwere Wehrmacht-Schlepper. Guessing a battle with headquarters, some early Jägers. In the south here, we've got the Sturmpionier moving up here. Going to head for that southern nations point up north here. The rears can still hold out for America, freedom, democracy, but they are at the end of their tether. They are down to just one guy, and he's not going to live much longer either at this rate. In the south, the Kuhwagen being fixed up. We got the 3rd rifle squad advantage there for Luvnest, freedom, democracy, and he's got tech on the way there. It is the Lieutenant, El Teniente. And there you go, battle headquarters going up here for Angreifen and the German army. Full's going to be advancing up the centre. Straight to the rifle squad there by the western victory point. South, we got the Kuhwagen against the rifle squad. There's Sturmpionier flanking the rifle squad in the centre here. A lot of engagement between Luvnest and Angreifen. One spot heating up here. Sturmpionier, though, being focused on the rifle squads. That's set. Caught in a crossfire like that. Luvnest makes, I think, the right decision just pulling out. He could have kept fighting there, but there's a good chance he just would have lost more men without really doing a lot of damage, when just fed Angreifen's force there more experience. So making a retreat, I think, was by far the best decision that Luvnest could have made under those circumstances. Lieutenant out here for Luvnest. Up north here, we got the rifle squad holding up here. But Angreifen is so far coming in, swinging hard there for Deutschland. And they're again calling the Jäger light infantry recon squad. This needs to press that button, and there you go. Jägers summon 40th for Deutschland. The rifle squad moving up towards us now, occupying the church, and there you go. Suddenly, Angreifen in the centre. There's the one in a bit of a sticky spot here, as he is now the one caught in the crossfire potentially. Jägers advancing there. Upgrades on the way, so you can upgrade them with the Jäger or G43 sniper rifles. But more like a marksman rifle. Also forced off the centre up north, though. Angreifen makes some slow progress. Luvnest with no forces nearby to shut that down, perhaps. But when we check to the car pond, he could dig in. He could also consider laying down some mines here with his rifle squad, since that is one of the advantages with the rifle commander. The rifleman can lay down mines here with the rifleman defensive structures. There you go, car pond hit there. Messing with Angreifen's fuel economy. Thumbs up to Luvnest. Up north here, routing the Germans from the northern munitions. Good work there by Luvnest, Lieutenant Dan. And we've got an M20 Luvnest here, applying on more pressure here versus Angreifen with some swift motorization and an ambulance. not for applying pressure. Kuban going past that carve point. Sturmpionier sitting out, Volks sitting out there. Another fun fact about the 17th SS in Normandy, at least, is they actually attached the reconnaissance elements of 2 other SS Panzer divisions, I think, to stiffen another bit there, as they clearly didn't had much faith in the overall division, and there were certainly issues where the division didn't quite perform, well, very cohesively at all. Another element is actually several of its Panzer Grenadier battalions were mounted on bicycles because they didn't have enough trucks or cars to motorize them, so you had like fancy SS troops and bikes running about there in Normandy. Fun fact. Troops reinforcing healing here in a few moments. There we go. Center roaming about here in the south. Got the armored skirts added. Could lay down some mines for that one. The M6 anti-tank mine, whether or not he actually does it is another matter. Most players tend to be less large on those abilities. Raketenwerfer there for Angreifen, plus 8 Panzerschreck, die Raketenpanzerbüchse. Front rushing north here, crushing fences along the way. And there he goes straight to the foot of the Fipkel, raking into the goddamn Krauts of 10 million from the other side. He's clearly willing to let a Panzerfaust just to get some more damage on the Volksgun. Let's hope to maybe dissuade them from sticking around the point longer, but in this regard, Angreifen's toughed it out there, though at the cost of Otto and maybe Ulrich. In the center there, a second of fresh offensive here from Luvnest goes through here. A full 3 Ralph squads here, pushing forwards, though quickly splitting up the assault force here. In the south, German forces moving in to capture up there, though Luvnest got his own raiders there roaming about, grabbing points away from Angreifen again. We got the Kenmeth already here. Jaegers moving out there with their scoped G fully free. And we got another Jaeger squad out here for Angreifen and Deutschland. Up north here, we got the Lieutenant from Northern at Victory Point there. Grabbing the southern fuel point there away from the Krauts. Jaegers still catching the reactions there with their minesweeper. Watch out, Otto! They have a minesweeper. Wait, why am I shouting that out? I don't know. Happened? So Captain on the way there for Luvnest. Interesting choice here, by the way. Not the most common choice to go for like one command, like one other command post there. Go for the mechanized upgrade and then go for the other commander in the low level instead of going straight for the major. So that's a bit of an interesting move there by Luvnest. Bit of an interesting move. Wonder what's the cause for that. Perhaps he's just trying out new things, maybe? Definitely not quite the usual stuff. Not necessarily bad, just not what I'd expect. Oh, yes. Oh, we even got the weapon racks unlocked here for Luvnest, so that is further makes this interesting. I mean, it does give him more infantry while still getting some tech like anti-tank guns. So again, it's not bad. It's just, I mean, if you sort of look at how most American players will operate, this is definitely not how they do it. A Kerner for Pantrix, they're flying the M20, only 1 hits. The L1 does, mercifully for Luvnest at least, miss his armored car there. A utility car to be specific. MD-34 there for Angreifen, needing some more suppressive firepower to match all of this Amerikanische Infanterie. So it makes a lot of sense. Rifles scoring up their BARs, their Browning automatic rifles. El Captain, they're also on the move there. Patrick flying. Knocks out the gunner a bit there. Ralph squad need to fall back here. Cool one spot here with Ralph squad. And we even got a mine here from Angreifen. Die Schützenmine 42. Sturmpionier pushed out in the open. Ralph squad advancing there with the BARs. M20 being fixed up. El Capitan moving up there with a BAR on the way as well there. So what is Luvnest planning now? Mortars, 50 cals, major. And any guesses at this point kind of good here. But there you go. Jaegers bring up, of course, operating together, so can that way maximize the power of their scope rifles to bleed out the armies. I do believe, by the way, this has been changed in Company's Thief based off some bits they spotted during the deep dive. But basically, where here they sort of have this sniper element where they just wipe someone below, like, you know, a certain amount of health in Company's 3. They basically just get a bonus versus units in cover, which I think is a bit more sensible way to approach it. But there you go, Grenadier sold off here, pushing out the Lieutenant. Yeah, well, missing this certainly was a bit cheeky there anyways. Jaegers still bleeding out the Ralph squad, need to retreat here. I'm trying to bring up again, 2 kills, close range 1. That squad is about to get a wipe unless Luvnest gets them the devil out of there. Try on the way there for Angreifen with the schwerer punted quarters. I would not be surprised to actually see an Ostwind rush here. Those are becoming fairly more popular with some Orbital Commandos players, since rushing an Ostwind can be quite potent. I'm even slightly seeing an increase in Wehrmacht players pushing out fast Ostwinds as well, so makes a lot of sense there. So there you go. Schwerer Wehrmacht, they're being hauled to the front line. Can they set up these Schwerer punted quarters? And if we can hold up for a bit longer, they might be able to push out Austin faster than Luvnest is ready for. In the south, the captain tooling up with the full going to do here. Liaison with the mines moving in to somehow clear up the situation. And God, watch out, they have a minesweeper. Again, what is with these Americans is that minesweeper? Grenade assault here, though. The steel hand grenade there being flung at the rear echelons. That said, they did suffer a lot of damage here. Captain also closing in here. Luvnest presenting pretty good map to live as Angreifen next to all 3 victory points. Pretty good there. Bit surprised the lack of 50 cals here from Luvnest. They're typically a big feature of the American metagame, as they are, well, quite good. So this has been interesting that he's not going for one. Oh, there we go. Speak of the devil. Schwerer punted quarters there, almost done here for Angreifen and C-17's SS. Grenade assault here against the rifle squad, pushing them back. Center Sturmpini holding up. 50 cal right around the corner there for Luvnest. Jaegers advancing, rifle squad caught there, being quickly bled out by the 2 Jaeger squads. North, the Lieutenant was named defended fought inside the old wooden church. Sturmpini moving up here, right at the Lieutenant. No grenades here, so no easy way of deterring the Sturmpini from getting too close here. Except, of course, that Thompson. Further firing around here, I'm trying to push back the Jaegers. And the further south, you've got the Volksgrenadiers also at work. 50 cal there finds for arrived to Luvnest. The front line he is also taking up. Pushing for those Shermans, I imagine. Pushing for Brad Pitt. It sounds like a really weird movie, indie movie, about someone's obsession for Brad Pitt. And how they're expending a large amount of money, like trying to look like Brad Pitt, but in reality they just look like, you know, a wax statue of Brad Pitt left out in the sun. Anyways, I'm trying to pursue the Sturmpioneer there, 50 coming up here. Luvnest charging in there for freedom and democracy, almost ready to the M20 utility car there, virtually to achieved. MG Fed following up, he got it down to half health. Luvnest does not slow down, but there you go. Angreifen with his flak panzer there on the way, the Ostwind. Will Luvnest be ready for that torrent of 30mm flak fire? He doesn't have any bazookas, he doesn't have any tank guns. I don't even think he has a mine down, so... that flak panzer can actually give Luvnest quite the headache. As like, I'll stress again, he has no way of stopping that. Even slowing it down. But there you go. He's still advanced though. Lots of infantry, lots of BARs. He can, of course, respond with an anti-tank. In fact, he would even probably rush it out with the captain using the supervisor ability. Panther's the M20 utility car in the south, damaging the engine, leaving the crew quite, well, dazed. There you go. Flak panzer arriving here for Angreifen. The Ostwind. Again, we're flying away there. 20 there being hauled back, heavily damaged. Popping out there to do most of the damage. He's trying to do something about it. Flak panzer moving ahead here for Deutschland, getting the route squad here, but the Southern Nations point 30 on the flak fire there, ripping through the Yankees. Carl Ori drops dead. Joe forced to take command of the squad here. Paralyzed with indecision. He orders the rest of the unit to retreat before the flak panzer murders them, and then he dies himself as well. There we go, Austin southwards. M20 crashing an outhouse before getting out. The Lieutenant definitely needs to get away as well before he gets turned into flak panzer meat as well. But he's going to try and grab that point. Luvnest believes in the Lieutenant. In Lieutenant Dan, who dies. There we go, M199 for Luvnest. Obviously nowhere close to Sherman. Well, he kind of is close to Sherman, so he could make it work. Of course, he could also be tempted to try and hold up further for the 76mm. That is the C8, though. That one might be a tad too ambitious here for Luvnest. But he's clearly going to go for something a bit more armoured than an anti-tank gun to try and deal with this Ostwind here. Could actually rush it out if he gets the captain back in there to supervise. 50 cal being hammered here by the flak panzer. I wouldn't be careful about the 50 cal there because the Ostwind is really good at knocking down buildings, actually, so... There you go, Bazooka team out, so he did bring in some Bazooka Seed to buy him some time. Maybe he's also why he just ended up cancelling the anti-tank gun. Luvnest figured, you know what, I could probably hold out for a tank. Meanwhile, we got Angreifen there with another Kettenwerfer. 5th Corps there in the church being slowly evicted here. And there you go. Bazooka team moving in to occupy. And there you go. Goes right at it. Straight for the frontal door. But surprise, surprise. There's a schwerer punted quarters as well ready as well. And that gets off some good shots as well. The Reasons will have to vacate the premises as well. In fact, they're about to get buried within the premises if they're not careful. Jaegers there getting killed, definitely being quite the nuisance there for Luvnest. He's very close to the 76 militia Sherman, the EC8 specifically, which I imagine he's going to go for here. I still think a mortar would be good here for Luvnest, honestly, though. The Luvnest is, for whatever case, heavily focused on the EC8. I don't think it's a good tank, but, you know, maybe he's too focused, I don't know. M20, they're murdering away Germans up north here, 6 kills near the east level. Like Kednev, they're being hauled to the front line. Black Panther being fixed up. Second look moving up. There's going to go for a double whammy there on the M20. And there we go. Pop goes the Weasel. M20 incinerated alongside its crew. And there we go. Luvnest with the Sherman EC8. Could then go for a mortar. Full strength to the left squad. And there we go. Grenade assault here. A full flurry of Steelhand grenade there being flung at the Yankees. To no avail. EC8 though ramming a Flak Panther in the centre. They're hammering the 5th Corps. They're exposed out in the open. It is easy prey here for the Flak Panther. Bazooka team moving up. There you go. Bazooka crew. Oh, he sacrificed Bazooka crew to deny him the 50 cal, but he may also lose that as well. At which point, not only lose the 50 cal in a sense, but he just lost the essence with the bazookas. I mean, that's 100 munitions. Plus manpower that just went up to save that 50 cal. Woof. Not great there for Luvnest. It's easy to hit those right around the corner. Meanwhile, you can see that Angreifen is further solidifying a soldier around the center road, laying down more Schützenmine there. Jaegers there. Round tip, they've got the MG4 providing covering fire here, allowing them to retreat more safely, and of course, blunting Luvnest advancing in the center. 3rd Armored Division, Baker Company, encountering issues here with the Germans. But the EC8 has arrived, and the Brat Pit has been added. Straight at the Ostwind here with the Brat Pit manned tank there. M1 entering out from the way for Luvnest. So no mortars. Smoke deployed there quickly. A few hits there. In the south here, Sturmpioneer routed by the Lieutenant. Ostwind ring to Lieutenant here. 11 kills. Veteran 2-1. Far up north, the Angreifen dispatching more forces to exploit the fact that Luvnest is being drawn more and more into the center south, leaving the north open. Thumbs up to Angreifen. The south, the Lieutenant, though, is hastily dispatched here for 14 kills, almost wiping their Luvnest Lieutenant. MG34 there, Vet 72, 4 kills. Up north, the EC8 is on the move here to deal with the Germans, the Krauts, the Nazis. And there you go, opening up the full screen here with its 76mm gun. Troops sending out here, M1 Anton tank gun at the ready. Still, though, I really do think Luvnest should bring up a mortar or maybe a pack howitzer. Scott, just some kind of artillery here versus Angreifen, honestly. Sitting on the map, like Kholodny Ferma, I would say artillery tends to be quite crucial after a certain point. You see them in the Fulton here, in the center there, Rifle Corps being absolutely mauled by the Flak Panther out in the open. They're very much exposed to the Flak Panther's gun here, as you might have noticed. But there you go, M1 tank doing heavy damage to the Flak Panther. Good work there. Almost got the Ostwind, in fact. Blitzkrieg here being enabled to get it out of there, narrowly avoiding death by Luvnest's anti-tank gun. Close call there for Angreifen. You see it, they're being pulled back alongside Brad Pitt for a quick pit stop and a quick change of oil for Brad Pitt himself as well. 50 goes the Jaegers there, quickly hosing them down here. But yeah, they're going to occupy the building here. That's going to be a bit of a harsh issue here for Luvnest to deal with. In the south, you've got the Major on watch. In the south, here, troops pushing for the southern victory point here. More mines here from Angreifen. Thumbs up. He's also floating a fair amount of manpower and fuel. Perhaps he's planning a Panther. Major busy with the Kubelwagen now. Before he realizes that a Kubelwagen is too major an issue for the Major to have to deal with. Grenadier Assault hoping to get a wipe. I mean, not a bad thing to try with at all, though I think you might have picked a slightly larger target than the Major for that, in terms of, like, numbers. Graham Northern points. I mean, Luvnest is maintaining good victory point control here on Angreifen, but certainly is starting to have some issues here in other departments. Flak Panzer there, actually 2 increasing its rate of fire. Definitely bad news for any infantry on the receiving end. Even got booby traps here from Angreifen. Thumbs up. Could be any number of elements used for that. The Germans were quite big on booby traps. Ranging from mortar bombs to grenades to... They even had a particular type of grenade, the M39 Eierhandgranate, which had a version with a 1-second fuse they particularly used for that, but again, it could be like anything. So yeah. Fun note there. Up north, we've got the Lieutenant versus the Foxes. 2 squads still lacking any sort of more impactful weapons here. The Lieutenant is going to have to fall back. We do have the EC at the moving in there. Brad Pitt almost on the scene there to save the day against the Krauts. Good shot on the Volksgrenadiers. We do get the Panther of Angreifen, the Panzerkampfwagen 5. Note, the 17th SS did not have access to Panthers. Most Panzer Grenadier divisions did not. 17th SS in its armor, at least for the Normandy, had a bunch of Stuks in its Panzer Company. And it had a tank destroyer battalion with Mard. It was supposed to have Jagdpanzers, the early models, but they didn't arrive in time, and only by the time, you know, things were falling apart, they would arrive, be used around, I think, Paris, actually. And go for the light infantry gun, thumbs up. Luvnest meanwhile still no artillery. Oh, he's closing in, another EC8 here. Got the Austrian towards the center, engaging the Raufscourt there. Raufscourt low and healthy, need to get out before the Austrian murders it. Anti-tank, they're getting a good shot on the Ostwind. Could pop take aim here. It's a good but overlooked ability I find. Raufscourt caught with the Schwer Panzer quarters, I guess Luvnest kind of forgot about that one. And now we got the Panther out here for Angreifen. Sent in from the nearby 2nd Panzer Division to assist the 17th SS Panzer Grenadier. Be shown. Jägers advancing a close to the fleet. Captain going on the center. You see it going here southwards, catching the Jägers there as they try to sneak up here in Luvnest's flank. Panther moving forwards. Pinball machine on the way there for Angreifen's Panzerkampfwagen 5, and the center captain is not having a great time. Jägers routed. Met with obscene amounts of firepower from the Americans. Angreifen, makes the only decision he can there. Flak Punch still at it though. Could be flanked by the EC8 from here though. Maybe knocked out, maybe not. Return the center though is definitely a big target here for a lot of German guns, and well, gonna have to retreat obviously, but he's clearly gonna try and grab the point before retreating. And in this case does pay off. Meanwhile, Luvnest finally with another EC8 here. More Sherman tanks with which to meet the Krauts on the field of battle. North here, Angreifen launching another assault. This time though, we got a 5th kill here in the small shed there, the shack of freedom. And then goes into the 5th kill here and rout it. Panther sending out. Scott on the way for Luvnest now, the EC8. On one hand, again, he does need artillery. But on the other hand, I do feel like more EC8s to help deal with that Panther and the other stuff would always be really good. But in the end, I am not Luvnest, so I'm not going to second guess that too much. Jägers was the captain in the center. Up north, you've got the EC8 with the Rocket light infantry gun. Ooh, that's a bit of a sliver here by Angreifen, actually. This could be seized by Luvnest turned against Angreifen. That is potentially big here. Like, really big. He could, of course, also destroy it, and that's obviously also, I think, a really good choice. Probably the best on the sequence. Oh! Lost unit here to mine. Good mining, though, by Angreifen. Like, really thorough mining overall. Thumbs up. Panther heavily damaged, pushed back here. It's got almost done. EC8 there continues to miss the light infantry gun. Brad complains to the gun that he's making him look bad. Panther getting a shot on the EC8 there. And the Scot arrives here with its Senfarm and a little Hauser, firing at the retreating Jägers. Raufscourt being hammered at the bend with the Ostwind, closing an 83 on that one. Definitely proved to be a good investment, you can see there for Angreifen. Really done some heavy damage to Luvnest. And the anti-tank gun got destroyed. Now that's really painful. There we go. Raufscourt almost avoids total annihilation. Even then, some men are crushed by, you know, falling, you know, beams there from the roof. And a crushed, shattered. The bones splintered. Absolutely brutal stuff. Grenade assault against the lieutenant in the south. Scott pushing them back there, but not before they get to chuck a few grenades. Situation for Luvnest looking a little less cheerful now. Angreifen building up more strength here versus Luvnest and the Americans. East getting good shot there on the Panther, punching through the Panther's armor with relative ease. Up north of us going for the building there. Oh, victory point again. Once more encountering the 50 cal. Once more wondering if someone maybe should have marked it on the map. There's a machine gun there. But there you go. Angreifen has a plan B here. He launches a flanking squad here to, you know, relieve the... Well, Fulska's in a lot of trouble there. Luvnest sees what's happening and retreats the 5th cal. Very good. Luvnest could go for another easy. Soon he could also start going for Jacksons. We will have to see though what Luvnest goes for. There you go. Angreifen's Flak Panzer. Virtually 30 kills. North here, points being seized by the Germans. Troops reinforcing healing here, getting rid of the next big push. Another truck for Angreifen. That'll be the Mechanized Regiment. Could be indicating he's going to go for the King Tiger. And there we go. We do get the M36 Jackson tank star there for Luvnest. Freedom and Democracy. North the Brad Pitt puts an end to one of the Fultz Grenadiers there, forcing the rest of the unit to retreat. Easily going for the Fultz squad. There we go, just retreating. They're not going to mess with Brad Pitt, obviously. They don't get paid enough. Kenmov's on the move there, lining up here for a Stoke push through the centre here against Luvnest. But Kenmov's ambushed. 5th cal sitting up here, easy it's engaging. Ooh, one bounces. Very fortunate for Luvnest. You see they're being pushed back. Panther on the move here. Scott bombarding here around the Aegis as such as well. 5th cal ripping through them. Panther diving in against the EC8. Jackson's almost done. EC8 bounces off the Panther's arm here, and the Panther DF here. Angreifen is fearlessly plunging his Panther deep within Luvnest territory. Captain Evers, the Flak Panzer. It's not a pretty sight for the captain. Jackson, though, has arrived, but will arrive to do anything to the Panther, or will Angreifen pull back his Panther before Luvnest Jackson is ready? Meanwhile, Brad Pitt, they're surveying the situation and wondering how he can maybe get the director to sneak him some extra snacks. Panther falling back in the face of the Jackson. Rough squad moving up here. Good shot on the Panther. Norfolk ground the point with the major. Fultz moving up here for Angreifen. Worth noting, none of his Fultz guns have been upgraded. No Sturmgewehrs, not even a repair kit. Good shot from the Jackson, the Panther, down to almost half health here. Panther shoots and misses. Jackson does not. Panther now heavily damaged here. Angreifen may have to pull it back for some repairs here. Mechanized Regiment going up there for Deutschland. Zerfaserland, Die Dritte Reich. North or east here to move, they're a bit damaged up. And the building finally collapses, wiping one of Luvnest's squad. Actually, I think he accidentally popped 2 squadrons in that. They both got annihilated in that. Good God. I'm sure they'll blame that on the Germans as a war crime. Yeah, they funneled the American troops into that building and then collapsed it on them. Didn't they just walk in, sound zone? No. Never happened. They knew it was structurally unsafe. Despite none of them having ever worked in construction, all being accountants from Illinois. Anyways. Yes, Basil. He lost 2 squads in the building, Basil. It's amazingly violent, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, Basil. He shouldn't have done that, I know. White phosphate from Luvnest. Try and mess with Angreifen. Yeah, that really hurts Luvnest. Losing so much infantry in such a short time. In comparison, he really hasn't wiped any of Angreifen's infantry in this fight. At all. Continue to push forward, see, exploiting the gap mate there, but again, the humongous infant losses. The 50 cal's also been lost by now. Situation for Luvnest, freedom and democracy is steadily deteriorating here. Oh, he did get one like Kednaps. That's a small one. The problem with the Flak Panzer remains a massive issue there for Luvnest. Virtually 4 on the Flak Panzer, which actually I believe gives it a damage bonus, which combined with the target rate of fire means it's actually Really, really uncomfortable infantry being in the range of that one. Jackson out here, veterans who want does open up for the H-Rep rounds, which have increased penetration and damage. So my apologies, I've lost access to the mini-map because currently Basil is blocking it. There we go, he's moved slightly away from it now, so I can actually see again, giving this some slightly better oversight on the battlefield. Jackson gets there, we go, H-Rep rounds off, and the Panther almost got it. Can he finish it off here? Can he take out Angreifen's Panther? He almost had it. A sliver of help, but the Panther survives. The Panther lives to see another day. Man, that church there really just... That is something straight out of some kind of like, you know... World War II zombie game or something. I guess. Sherman on the way there for Luvnest. Bring in some armor, but he still also needs more infantry here to match the Germans, and Angreifen's just bringing another Panther. Tony can't blame under these circumstances. He's here as the full squad pushing them back. Yeah, that Flak Panther's like, you know, really just been the main source of business here for Angreifen. 44 kills, nearly ace level Flak Panzer. Certainly shows you what a Flak Panzer can do in the right hands, doesn't it? Up north, he falls right about the easy 8 here. Basil, meanwhile, looking very smug now. Very satisfied with himself. Looking a bit rough here for Luvnest. Freedom, democracy. We got another squad line from Least Smoke being deployed to cover the advance in the center victory point. And there you go. I think it jumped down the boob trap. There you go. Cap moving in there kind of put a stop to that. Still, the smoke isn't helping too much because it's kind of like that Monty Python skit, you know. It only really works if you're hiding, if, you know, there's like multiple hiding places. If there's like only one place can really hide, you know, you're just a big target. There you go. Kenma wiped out again, but this time a much more experienced one. If Luvnest gets his hand on that and turned against Angreifen's Panther, that would help him out here. But for now, though, Angreifen's landing with his Panthers here. There you go. Wrecking Lekkenmer for another unit hammered here by the Sherman. Jaeger's forced retreat in the face of Luvnest and the wrath of America. Brad Pitt's tank, though, taking theatre from the Panthers. Betty 2 getting the Panther there. Bit of bombardment for the Sherman, not really hitting anything. Jackson loses 2 Panthers. Not a great setup there for Luvnest at that range. Need to get a bit more distance. There we go. Good hit. Flak Panther there. Super close to the ace level there. Got 85-29 though. Not looking great for Luvnest, unfortunately for him. Very fortunate for Angreifen. Good shot there from the Jackson. Halfway towards 53. Northern victory from of the Americans. The Major sent off a little mission of his own there. And now the Panther moving forward. We've got common blitz here from Angreifen. Panther going forward. The Sherman is kaput. The crew expires as the munitions cooks off. Considering the crew there. So looking increasingly bleak here for Luvnest and the 3rd Armored Division here, as the 17th is now heavily reinforced by elements of the 2nd Panzer Division here is starting to give him a really big bloody nose. And south here, Captain 40, wounded, depleted, but still believing in liberty. Panthers there being repaired, got the mechanized rig in. I mean, could also be just went for this for the repair pioneers, which, I mean, it's actually worth it in the longer run. So, thumbs up. 5th guy there for Luvnest. Oswalding Suffolk's here. Captain there's going to be buried in a few seconds. I think in the face of that. Yep, and there you go. Ace level Flak Panzer increasing its range. They're not slant of sight, so you can actually see the captain's retreat. 5th comes time, we got Luvnest launching another assault in the center. He wants that victory point. He wants to stabilize the front line against the Germans, but it's going to come at a huge cost here for Luvnest. And even then, of course, he's likely not going to grab. We got a veteran for MG34 there. Jackson moves up, riding covering fire there from the American infantry, but nothing that helps against the machine gun, unfortunately. And they're going to tilt a strike here from Angreifen. He really wants Luvnest and the Americans to go home across the Atlantic here. Flak Panther with 49 kills. Panthers diving ahead for Deutschland. A common blitz here as he charges after that Jackson tank destroyer and then charges backwards, has realised he just charged into his own artillery. And realised that's a bad place to charge into. 81 versus 281. Got the northern forces there by Angreifen's Jägers. 50 cal has finally arrived here for Democracy. But it's already running to the Flak Panzer, which is already making very short work of it. And wipes it, in fact. Really just highlighting what an Austrian Flak Panzer can do if you give it some experience. So looking, not great here for Luvnest. Not great. I mean, the EC8 and Brad Pitt are still alive, but that's about it. Even that may just fall short here with the Panther soon at this rate. Even it is an ace one now. Heading over to the EC8, going for the exit of Northern Victory Point. Shoots, misses. Jackson being fixed up, crew hard at work. Standing by. Orders complete. Point here, there you go. Luvnest sends Brad Pitt towards the centre in an attempt to turn the tide. But even that is quickly rebuffed here by Panther Academy. Of course, now the Ace Flak Panzer here. Panther getting the Jackson down half of red. In fact, less than that. One more shot from a Panther and that Jackson's going to be on fire. And there we go. No more action from that Jackson. And the infantry is just being absolutely torn asunder here. Angreifen shows no mercy. 58 kills there on the Flak Panzer. A tower of corpses here. Death and destruction, ladies and gentlemen. 50 kills almost wiped out. There you go. Betty 2 on the other Panther under Angreifen's command. And I think Luvnest has very much hightailed it, leaving Brad Pitt to wonder what's going on. Brad Pitt like, hey, where's everyone going? Where's the director? So, there you go. GG, game over. A loss for freedom, democracy. A victory for Deutschland. A victory for CoH2. But yeah, good fight back and forth there. But sadly, I think Luvnest failed to lay down some mines when it could have. Also, the other minor elements, I think the slightly shall say, didn't aid him. And of course, but I think sort of again, the major tipping point was just when he lost those two squads in the church. Like, again, I cannot stress this. Flak Panzers are really good against buildings. In particular, wooden buildings, they can really chew through this. So you have to be very mindful of using buildings around a Flak Panzer. And of course, you have a Flak Panzer. Using it to knock down your opponent's buildings is a really good move. So, yeah, I think Pat just wants to show this match again is just what like a good, well-handled Flak Panzer can do, in particular in the hands of the Oberkommando Commander West. So, I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment. Consider donating or pledging on Patreon to assist in the continued, war effort. And of course, you can pre-order comments as well if you want to do that. This is Imperial Links and Cheers. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.